So software engineering is divided into two parts: the front-end design or front-end development, and what is also called the back-end development. The front-end and the back-end development. In the front end, here basically software engineers design and build what the user sees and interacts with. Here we build what the user sees and interacts with. And basically when you open a website, what you're going to see on that website, what you're going to interact with, like forms that you're going to fill, the login page that you're going to use, the navigational bars that is going to help you navigate through the website. These are always designed and built by those guys called front-end developers. And the process is called front-end development or front-end engineering. So these guys use tools such as HTML and CSS that we saw yesterday, HTML plus CSS, and also JavaScript. Of course, plus their frameworks. So like the framework for JavaScript, we will find, we saw yesterday, one of them is React, the other one is Angular, and the other one is Vue. While the front end for CSS is Bootstrap. So most of the time you will find front-end development using these tools, and each and every tool is always allocated its task, or such that HTML, this one is used to lay the foundation of a website. HTML is used for laying the foundation of a website, while CSS is used to design that foundation. While JavaScript is used to add interactivity, what is called dynamic, to make a website dynamic. So JavaScript is used to add what is called interactivity, to ensure that you interact with the website. You can fill the form and send. You can you click on a button. You can click on a navigational bar, which will help you navigate through the website. All that part is always performed by JavaScript. Remember, we said frameworks are basically pre-built codes, and therefore they're basically the codes that help you simplify the development process. Instead of writing CSS, plain CSS, you are going to use a framework which is going to help you reduce the amount of code that you're going to write. So this is the process which we call the front end development. They use HTML to lay the foundation of a website, CSS to design that foundation, and JavaScript to add interactivity. Those are front end developers, of course, plus their frameworks. Now back end development, this is where also much of the work is. By the way, let's even if I've said that in the back end there are lots of work, there are also lots of designing involved in front end. So people always tend to choose what they love and what they feel like is their niche. So here we always develop what is called the business logic. The storage of website data, and other functionalities. For example, when we talk about the business logic, is the reasoning behind a business. Let's say that a business wants to do something to build a software that will help them always fast track how employees move in and out of the office. That is what we call the business logic. So all that idea is going to be implemented in the back end development. But front end is basically going to give us the form where an employee can put in his or her name, employee ID, and the date of login, date and time of login. But the business logic that is going to help the business see when and how the employees have been moving in and out of this office is implemented in the back end. And this is where the programming languages are mostly used, plus their frameworks. So here is where we will use Python. Here is also where we will use C or C++. We'll use C#. C hashtag is rather C#. We are also going to use languages like Ruby, PHP, and Java, and so on, plus their frameworks. So many languages on earth, but these are the most commonly used languages. Now, in addition to these languages, you're also going to add what are called databases. Databases are basically the medium for storage of data. So databases are used to store data, and they include SQL databases and NoSQL databases. So these are what are also found in back-end development. Moreover, for us to allow front-end development and back-end development to communicate, developers always design what are called application programming interface. So we always design what is called application programming interface. Or simply the API. An API is a medium of communication between the front end and the back end. For example, remember this login form that I talked about, or the login page. When you submit your username plus password plus username, this password and username are always stored in a database, for example SQL. So when you log in, this information is retrieved from the database to the front end, and if your password is wrong, you will get a login error. But if your password is right, you will go ahead and log in. So this is the process through which these passwords are retrieved from or taken to a database is actually aided by application programming interface, API. They're a medium of communication. Think of an API as a waiter in a restaurant. When you enter into a restaurant, your work is to sit down in the main sitting area of the restaurant. You do not have an access to where the food is being made, but the food is being brought to you by a waiter from the kitchen. And once you are done, the waiter will take the plates and give you the bill. So the waiter acts as an API. That's exactly what happens in application development, both front end and in back end. So when we can implement front end development plus back end development aided by API, we always say that you've ended up into being what is called full stack developer. Full stack developer.
Sorry, you broke kidogo. When you integrate what, you become a full stack developer?
When you can actually develop both the front end and the back end and implement all the API to communicate between the two, you become a full stack developer.
Okay, got it.
Yes, so for us data scientists, we are not developers, yes, but once you start designing, building machine learning models and deploying them, we will use back-end languages such as Python. We will use Python. We will also use, some of us also use Java. they do the same thing, except that this one has a steep learning curve. You have to have a very, very steep learning curve. And we also use databases here. Then we also use API. So in short, in our development environment, you will find data scientists working as a back-end developers. That is if they are building and deploying a machine learning model. So it will be very common for you to work in a team of both software engineers and data scientists. It's always called the IT and analytics team, but as the firm grows, they are always disintegrated into individual team. You'll find that your team can be now called data and AI, and the other team can be called application and something and IT, basically. But at the end of the day, the guy who handles everything at the top is the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer, who is the big man both for the data and AI and also for the software development team. So that's how the learning curve is, and basically that's how we are going to work with all this. Now, while working as a data scientist, sometimes data might be needed from a website. So it is very important to understand the structure of a website, and therefore, as an introductory part of the course, we always teach what is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, just around 30 to 40%. Then we give you an assignment to go and search for other, like make sure that you are good at HTML and CSS. You can design, build a front end website, like a portfolio website. This one will enable you to understand, once we reach scrapping the website, will enable you to understand the structure of a website very well. Because when it comes to scrapping a website, we are just going to get the elements of that website. So if you do not know the elements of that website, then it will be very difficult to scrap the website.
Okay.
And therefore, we want to introduce what is HTML. HTML in full stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext Markup Language, and it is used to design the web page, like basically to lay the foundation of our web page. A web page is basically what is always rendered in a browser. For example, what we can see right now, this is a web page, the Zoom one. When you go to Amazon, this is still a web page. This one here is still a web page. When you look at things like Showmax, this is a web page. YouTube, this is a web page. And therefore, a web page is basically what is rendered on a browser. A browser is a software that is used to access the internet. So HTML is the one that is used to lay the foundation of those web pages before we come in and add design to it using CSS. So HTML is always the foundation of any web page. Right now, developers are using a version of HTML called HTML version 5, and therefore it is very common to see HTML being referred to HTML5. HTML is made up, inside HTML, it's made up of what is called DOM. Or basically, HTML generates what is called a DOM. This DOM stands for Document Object Model. DOM stands for Document Object Model, and it's basically the arrangement of a structure of our website to form a web page. So this one is always generated by a web browser, and a web browser basically is something that has been implemented by HTML, and therefore HTML basically is always said to be the main idea behind this DOM. So a DOM is basically the logical arrangement of elements in our website. So before we talk about DOM, let us talk about elements of a website. The elements of a website are what makes up the website. For example, we will have sections, we might have texts, we might have images, we might have videos, and etc. These are what are called elements. And these elements are always predefined. Most of them are always predefined. So hauna budi kuzijua. You just have to learn about them, and they are always accessed in HTML using what we call tags. Tags are basically an element embedded inside an angle bracket. For example, the element of the HTML itself is what we call the HTML. This HTML tag, it's always embedded in an angle bracket. This HTML tag is always used to tell the web browser that we are initiating an HTML page. So the web browser will actually realize that this is a HTML page, and therefore will automatically pick it as an HTML page and design it and give you the results. So for most of these tags always have what is called a closing tag. So we will have an opening tag enclosed within an angle bracket, then the same tag closed. So the only difference is adding the / before writing the tag. So this is what we call this closing tag. So all the elements are always written inside here. Another tag is what we call the body tag. So the body tag is actually where you are going to see everything on your website. Everything that you're going to do on your website will be accessed through the body tag. Then we also have the head tag. The head tag is where we are going to write some important utilities or information about a website. For example, what will be accessed through the web browsers. What's this? Why am I forgetting this thing? Okay. Basically, when we click on a plus, so like for example, the information that you can see, the icon, and also the logos of a company, all these are always stored on this. There's a name for this. Please kindly remind me. We always talk about it most of the time. When you get a new, we say new tab. Yes, in a tab. So up here on a tab, you will see the information about that website. Also, it is also the place where we are going to put most of the links that link our website to items like the style sheet and so on. You're going to see. You're also going to tell the website which language to use. All that information is listed in the head tag. And that is basically the basic structure. But the structure of our website is always subdivided into what are called the structural elements. And the structural elements are mostly used to design and implement the structure of our website. And they include things like section, the section tag. They also include the article tag, the div tag, another one that I might have forgotten. There are so many. You also have the figure tag and the fig caption tag, and so on and so forth. I think you're going to just find them as we move on. These are what we call the structural elements. In addition, we will also find the API elements, application programming interface elements, which allows you to embed things like graphics using the Canva tag, audio using the audio tag, and video using the video tag, and even image using the image tag, img. So these are what we are going to work with. And other tags, which are, for example, we are going to find the P tag, we are going to find the H1 to H6 tags. The P tag is for a paragraph or a text. H1 to H6 is basically for headings, heading 1, heading 2, all the way up to heading 6. We're also going to find the link, which is accepted by the A tag. The link itself, which is used to link a website with something like a style sheet, the link tag. We are also going to use the navigation should be here, the nav tag. We're going to use the nav tag, and so on and so forth. And all these tags, you might find the tag being implemented on top of each other or inside each other. For example, the basic structure of our website is always made up of the HTML tag to the outer section. So we will add the HTML tag in the outer section, then the body tag, then inside the body is when we can find something like the div tag, then inside the div tag you can find something like the P tag or the image tag. So as you can see, this is always called a parent. The body becomes the child of this parent, and again the body becomes the parent of div, child of HTML, but at the same time parent of div. So the div becomes child of body and parent of P. The P becomes the child of div, and it is now the smallest item that you are going to see on our website. So it's the P that is the smallest unit that you're going to see on our website. So most of the time when you write these tags, they're always accessed through indentation. So we'll have something like HTML. We'll have something like the body. Then we have something like the div, and we have something like the P tag inside the div. So some indentation are always existing. When they're in the same level, I don't know if the body, I think, is the sibling of HTML. When they're on the same level, they are referred to as siblings, meaning they share the same parents. They share the same parents. And basically that's the basic structure of our website. Now that we've known what these websites are, I want us to start this. By the way, when we were beginning this course, you said you have a little knowledge on this, right?
Sorry, a little knowledge on
website or basically software engineering. A little knowledge.
Oh, well, not really software engineering. I mentioned I have interacted with software, but it was design software. So I'm pretty much a newbie on software engineering, the engineering part of it. Okay.
All right. So let's continue and design. Start on the basic structure of a website. And now when it comes to web scraping for data, we are always going to target these things called elements. For example, for description, if you go to Amazon, let me take you back to Amazon website. When you go to this Amazon website, we might always want to scrap this about this item and its description. I'm pretty sure these descriptions have been put in here through a tag called the P tag. So you're always going to target this P tag, and we're going to store it in our database as description. So you can just still come to our table or our database like SQL and see the description of this phone here. So we can we can always target its name, the price, the stars. All of these things have been stored in a tag. All of these things that you see are stored in a tag, and therefore it's a tag that we are always going to target when it comes to web scraping. That's why it's very important to know fundamentals of website development. So the ID we use in this case will be Visual Studio
Got
Code.
it.
I hope you have it. Do you have Visual Studio Code in your computer? But if you don't,
No, I don't have.
so that we can develop it. So you can share your screen.
Sorry, I share my screen? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
So let's go to Microsoft Store. No, the application on your computer. I can see it here.
Oh, okay.
Before the Brave browser, in the taskbar.
Before, okay.
And in the search bar up there, where it is written search apps, games, search for
Yes.
Visual Studio Code.
Okay, Visual Studio Code.
Yes.
This?
I think I've seen it. The one that is blue, that one.
Okay.
Then click install.
I think it's done.
Okay, so you can access it from your. Just search for it. It's now in your computer. So Visual Studio Code. There it is.
Yes. Do I start it?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. So this is what we call the user interface of Visual Studio Code. We have some pens there. Just directly opposite you is where you're
Yes.
going to write your codes. It's called the Canva or the working area. So we are going to see how when we create a file, it's going to be designed that way. Then to the extreme left, there are some icons there.
Yes.
The top icon is the file icon or the file explorer icon, and that's where we are going to, when we click on that, you're going to see the files that we are working with in the current project, and you're also going to see the project folder that we are working with. By the way, in website development, you're always storing all our codes in a folder called the project folder. So this
Okay.
folder can be made up of subfolders, which I'm going to talk about after this. Then we have the search icon. Sometimes these files will be too many. So what we do, we cannot manually go through them. We just search for them, because as developers, we are always going to store file names according to what they are going to do. For example, a file that will be used to access user login information can be named login.html. So when you want login, just search for login. Then the
Okay.
next icon is what we call the JIT icon. The JIT icon is a version control system which allows you to store your codes securely over a remote server called GitHub. So GitHub is where most of us will store codes, and that is where the codes are always secure. Even if you lose your computer, you can just still come back and see and retrieve the codes from that website. So the changes that have been made onto codes will be reflected on that JIT icon. Then the next icon is a run and debug icon, which when you click allows you to run your code. And this Visual Studio Code is powerful in that it will auto detect the kind of code you want to run, so it will call the programming language that is in use. Then the last one is what we call the extension icon. This extension icon allows you to connect. Remember when I said that this Visual Studio Code is an IDE, but sometimes
Yes.
we may need it to interact it to communicate with the programming language that you want to use. So that is where
Okay.
you're going to click, and it is the one that's going to help you connect your IDE and the programming language that you are going to use. For in this case, we want to use HTML. For HTML to be rendered, is a language that is always rendered on the web page. For we to see HTML in a web page, we always use what is called live server, an extension called live server. So that's what we are going to. It's the first one that you're going to install. So click on the extensions. Then after
Sorry. Do I need to choose the theme or?
yes, based on your
Okay.
preference,
Oh,
that
selected. Okay.
or
Okay.
by default it's
Okay.
always
Thank you.
black theme, the first one.
Okay. Thank you.
So
So
click on
I
the
click on extensions.
extension,
Okay.
then search for live server. So as you can see, the Nini for Python has been brought up, but in this reading we need
Yes.
live server, the first one.
Install.
Yes,
Or click.
just click
Sorry.
on it and then install.
From here.
Yes. So this one
So
is going to allow your HTML, which is
okay.
always embedded in your web browsers. HTML is always embedded in your web browser. It is installed. It's going to
Okay.
allow that HTML to communicate to your website. Then we are not yet done. When you go back to the left pane, you will still see the profile icon down there.
Profile. Oh, here.
Yes.
Yes.
So that one allows you to see the account that is currently using the Visual Studio Code. Who even sets up an account? I rarely set up an account. Then
Okay.
the setting icon down there allows you to change the settings. When you click on it, please click on it. There's a ton of things you can do. The best one is the setting one that you can themes. You can change themes. Profiles, you can change profiles. Extensions, keyboard shortcuts, you can see the keyboard shortcut that you're going to use, like Control X, Control C to cut and copy and everything. But
Okay.
the basic one that we always use is the settings, the setting one, which allows you to change things like you can just click on it. So as you can see, they are always listed there. The commonly used setting, autosave, the font size. You can change the font size, the font family. So commonly used, actually they are aligned to the left. commonly used: the text editor, the
Oh,
workbench, the window, the features, the application. But we rarely use them. Basically, at least for you to, for example, for me, I started website development over 6 years ago, but I rarely use the setting, so it's basically for information purposes.
okay.
Okay, now just stop sharing for a bit. There's something I need to explain before we get started.
Oh, just a minute. Okay.
All right. So anytime you want to create a website, or anytime you want to start development process, we always create a container that is going to contain all everything that we are going to do, called a folder. So a folder is basically like a large container on your computer. It is called a folder, and the root folder of a computer is always this one, the file explorer, because it's the folder that contains everything. So inside the file explorer you will find the folder, some folders like desktop folder, download folder, documents, etc. So in the desktop folder you can again create other folders or other shortcuts. So when you want to create a website, you always start what is called a project folder on your computer. This project folder is the parent folder. It can have subfolders. It can have some folders like this. For example, you can have a folder for styling your website called styles, and you can have a folder for static, to store static files like images, e.g. images. So as you can see, the project folder is the big folder outside, but the two folders are what we call the subfolders. Now, once we have the subfolders, we can have a file. A file can be inside a project folder, like a file called index.html. I'm going to explain how it is named. Index.html can be inside the file folder. Then a file for styling, like style.css, can be inside a styles folder. So when we can actually access this styles.css, we always use what is called a path. So we always use a path. For example, when we are in desktop, I hope you are conversant, you've seen this most of the time. Desktop, let's
Yes.
say the folder is folder, then subfolder, then style.css. This is what we call a path. A path is basically how you can move from your computer to where the file is. That is a path. When you are in the current folder, for example, if we are working on a project and we are in the parent folder, instead of writing all that, the name of the folder, developers always use full stop like this. So when you use full stop, the computer will know that you are in the current folder. Current tuko tunafanya saa hii. So we will use full stop, then continue with the forward slash. So by default, IDEs will try to find out. This guy is trying to find something that is inside the current folder. So if you are working the folder, you will see index popping up, styles folder popping up, and static folder popping up, which means that the computer is able to recognize that you are working in the current folder by the full stop there, and you are going to you want to move to a certain path using the forward slash. So symbol for path is always the forward slash. You want to move to a certain path using the forward slash. Yes, that is some of the things you need to know. We are also going to work with something called file naming conventions. Very important. This one is going to help us throughout the course. File naming conventions. How do you name your folders in a file? Number one, we have a naming convention called camel case. Kindly take note of the camel case folder naming convention. In this convention, each and every word starts with a proper noun. Or is a proper noun, that is. Each and every word is a proper noun, and there is no space between the words. So this is what we call a camel case. For example, if you want to initiate a folder for web development, we write it this way: web development. This is mostly used on folders. It's mostly used on folders. Then another one is another one called snake case. Here, as you can see, two words are all in small letters, and they have been separated by an underscore. This is mostly used to name files. For example, we'll have a file called login_page.html. So these are the two most commonly used naming conventions that you're going to find, and they are the one that you're going to use mostly. So in short, when you want to name a folder, use camel case. When you want to name a file, use the snake case. Very important. Then lastly, a file is always given what is called an extension. An extension is the identity of a file. For example, when we initiated the login page.html page, it means that the file name is login_page. So file is subdivided into two. This part is called file name. But when we add .html, this one is always called extension. So extension tells us the type of a file. This extension tells us the type of a file that we are working with. Tells us the file type. For example, .html tells us that this is an HTML file, and therefore codes that are going to be written in that file should be HTML codes and not any other codes. How do you know the extension? We always use, when we want the extension, we always use the following convention. When in programming, we always use abbreviation, stroke or name of a programming language or a program. For example, when the file is Python, we always use abbreviation py.py. When the programming language is JavaScript, we always use .js. When it is Java, we always write it in full .java. When it is C++, we always use CPP. When it is C, we always use .c. When it is CSS, cascading style sheet, we always use .css. So on and so forth. Similarly, for the type of data that you are stored, that is for a program. Then number two, we also have the type of data that is being stored in that file. Number two, we have the type of data. For example, if the data is PDF, we always have .pdf. If the data is Excel, we always have .xlx, xlxx, or xlm. If the data is CSV, we always add .csv. And if the data is a shell script, you always add .sh to mean it's a shell script. All these are what we call the file extensions. And now that you've known a file extension, let us start our coding. Create a folder. Steps 1, we are going to create a parent folder called a project folder. Then number 2, create the first file. Yes. So in this case, I'm going to click on my file explorer. Then it will open up this folder. Then click on desktop. Then you are going to create a folder based on your need. You're going to create a folder, right click, then new, then a folder called TSI Data Science. We're going to organize our things well. TSI Data Science. So this is the parent folder that's going to have everything that you're going to do in TSI. So you don't have to throw things anyhow the way you like on your computer. TSI Data Science will take care of that. So when you want anything on TSI, or after downloading anything, you have to move it to TSI Data Science so that you access it. Here we are also going to create subfolders. Like in this case, we're going to create a folder for like something like computer science for data science. Computer science for data science. So everything about computer science will be found here. And when you click this, you create and the root folder now is the one for web development. I hope you are following.
Yes, I'm following.
So once this web development has been created, this is what we call the project folder. Open it, then right click, then you will see open with code.
Okay.
Your Visual Studio Code, I hope it is installed. So when you right click, you should see open with code. Kindly confirm.
Just second. Oh, okay.
Umeona?
Let me see. When I click to the root folder, no, just
yes.
give me a second.
The project folder that we're going to use.
No. Okay. Just Akuna.
Okay.
Did finish installing.
I don't know why, but there are so many ways of doing that. So
okay.
Remember, this is this PC desktop TSI Data Science, CS for Data Science, then Web Dev. Now what I need to do, I'll just open, for yours it is already open, VSC.
Yes.
Just open my Visual Studio Code. Then from this section we'll have different things that you're going to see. We have file here, we have a pen, a very thin pen at the top. File, edit, selection, view, go, run, then the ellipses, terminal, help. Terminal allows you to bring up a terminal, or basically this is what we call a terminal, whatever you can see down here. A terminal is basically a command line interface, CLI, that allows you to interact with your computer, especially from the root folder that you're using. So we are going to use most of the time file and terminal. So click on file, then open folder. Then the folder was under desktop.
Okay.
TSI Data Science, CS for Data Science, then Web Dev. Then select folder.
Sorry, I lagged behind in creating the folder. Let me just rework that. Sorry, I was just following.
Okay.
Please go to your folder page.
Pardon?
Please go to your folder page so that I just rename as you had listed also.
This one?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. TSI Data Science. Okay, just let me do that now. CS for data science. Okay, done with the folders. Just go to file, open folder, desktop, TSI data science, to web dev, right?
Yes.
From the Visual Studio. Okay. So select folder.
Yes.
Okay.
Open.
Done. Yes, open. Yeah. I've gotten. Yeah. Do you trust this authors of the file and folder? Yes, I trust. Right.
Pardon? Yes, yes, yes. Do that.
Yeah. It is asking trust others for CS for data science. So yes, I trust others.
Yes.
Okay. Done.
So do you see something like mine on your screen?
Yes. 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 Is that.
So when you have this folder, so when you hover cursor, there is this pen. It's called a file pen here.
Okay. Yeah.
This is where
Yeah.
you are going to see all your files once you create them. Hata zikiwa
Okay.
mingi aje, the scroll bar will be brought up so that you can just scroll and see your file. But I told you that manual searching is always something that is out of bounds for us, so we use the search icon. So there are two
Okay.
ways to create a file. There are two ways to create a file under this folder. The first way, which is the most commonly used way, is by using this. So when you hover cursor on the web dev, then to the right of that, then you will see new file. So when you click on it, you can name index.html. So the root
Okay.
page of an HTML is always named index by default.
Okay.
The next one, you will see new folder. This one allows you to create a subfolder. Then refresh Explorer. If you have some files that you cannot see, when you click refresh, this one should be able to refresh and bring up those files that are lost. Then collapse folders. This one allows you to collapse the folders, but in this case we don't have one, so there is no folder that's going to be collapsed. So most of the time you are going to use this and this. That is the first way,
Okay.
the most commonly used way. The second way, which will be difficult, especially when this file is failed, is by right clicking on this space here and new file or new folder, or you can open in the environment also, and so on and so forth. You can copy the path also, but in this case, new file, new folder. So let's create a new folder, and this folder will be used for styles. Here we are going to store all our codes. Now, once you've created the styles folder, we want to name as folder a file called CSS inside it. So you click once on it, once it is highlighted blue, right click, then new file. So this file, when you do that, this new file will be created inside that subfolder. And let us name it style.css.
Just writing the that is a minute. Styles folder.
Are we together now?
Just a second. Okay, let me So I have gotten to the new folder called styles.
Yes, click on it.
Yes.
Then right click on it. Make sure it is highlighted blue before you right click on it.
Okay, yeah, it is. Then
Then new file.
new file. Okay, okay.
Yes.
So okay. Hash style.css. Okay. New file. So the hash space then style.css.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, did you write the hash or the hash came automatically?
That one comes automatically. Don't write it.
Okay. 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 So
Oh, it is the symbol for a program or nini.
oh,
For
okay. So
example, now hash is always a symbol for CSS. Then the angle bracket is always a style, a symbol for index for HTML.
okay. Okay.
Then even JavaScript will also do the same. So do not worry.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So
let's
yes, we're
start.
together now. Okay.
Pardon?
I'm saying we are together. We're together.
Okay. Now let's start with HTML. And now the basic structure of HTML is when you write HTML, then you close it. By the way, when you write the closing bracket, the angle bracket, by default the HTML will be closed. So when you do this, by your website will know that what you want to do is actually access
Oh,
a HTML page. So when I print something like hello, I am Shaq and I am getting started with development. So then we save it.
okay. Where do you save it from?
Just Control S.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just let me add that. So when I when I write HTML, the last part the forward
Automatically,
slash
that's
HTML.
yes, that's the work of an editor. It's going to help us, by the way. It's going to help us very
Okay.
much on that. So when we want to see this on our web browser, we always right click, then open with live server down there. Right click anywhere on the codes, then open with live server down here.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Let me just share my screen. I think there's an interesting. Mine is not coming. Is not blue. It's not giving
Yes,
the
sure,
end
sure.
bit of it. Okay. Okay. So where am I? Where am I? Window. Let me know whether I can see it. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
supposed to be written inside the index.html. So we are starting with
Oh,
the
okay.
yes.
Okay.
That's the reason
So
why.
no wonder. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
HTML. Yeah, I was wondering. It's not blue. Okay.
So
Yeah,
when
seen it. And then Control save, right?
save yes,
Control S, yeah.
then right click
Done.
and open
Right
with live
click
server.
and the live servers. Do what's this? Yeah, allow, right? Oh, sorry. I have a Windows security request whether I allow Visual Studio.
Let, yes, understand.
Yes,
Click,
allow,
click,
right?
I understand. And click
Okay,
there. I understand. Don't show again.
okay. Yeah. So, oh,
Down
I
here,
just shared a tab.
bottom
Just give me.
right.
I understand bottom right. Yeah. Okay. Then don't show again.
Yes. So let's stop
Okay.
the server. Bottom right again. There is this spot. Click on it.
Bottom right. Oh, port. Yeah.
That one.
Okay.
Click on that.
Yeah. Oh,
Then,
okay.
yeah, that is how to stop the server. Now right click and save again. Maybe if
Right.
they just change things.
Let me see. Do I
Open in
have
live server. Open in live
open
server
browser
down there.
server? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I see. They have changed. Mine is the older version, so it seems the newer version do not allow. Now that's what I wanted to teach next. It seems they have changed it.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
stop sharing. I show you.
Yeah. Just a minute. Stop sharing. Okay.
So as you can see, mine is able to start without the head tag, but for yours, they are insisting on that head tag. So this is basically what is telling the browser that we want an HTML page. But the most intrinsic, or basically the most the very very important structure that you must follow is to start your website by telling it that we have a doc type. I have a problem with my exclamation mark. So the opening angle bracket exclamation mark, then type doc type in caps, then HTML.
Oh, okay. So this specifies the what?
This one tells HTML that we are beginning with the HTML development.
Oh, okay.
No, don't put exclamation. Sorry, exclamation. That is why we are going to use it. Don't worry.
Okay. In caps doc type. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, doc type HTML.
Okay.
Then
Yes.
next, when you hit enter on your screen, the tab will be somewhere there. Just hit backspace so that that one is done away with. Then the HTML opening tag.
Oh, okay. HTML document tab.
Then
Okay. Then okay.
inside the HTML opening tag, we have the header tag. When you just click right head, then hit enter, it will give you everything.
Okay.
Then inside the header tag, after header tag, we have the body tag.
Then without indentation.
Yes.
Okay. Just let me rectify that. So inside I write body tag. Okay.
Yes. But what we've done is actually this is basically the most intrinsic. Like any other time you want to start building a website using an IDE, you must follow these steps. Though
Okay.
in Visual
Oh.
Studio Code,
Mm.
we do not need to write all this. We are always given the option of just writing exclamation mark, one exclamation mark
Mhm.
like that, and hit enter. Then this one is going to bring up everything that you need.
Okay. Okay. Let me just do that again. Okay.
So delete
Is
whatever
it
we wrote before.
okay?
Uh,
Is it possible to just save individual files like now what I've just done right now
yes,
for the doc type? Okay. So I control save.
Control save, yes.
Okay.
But don't worry, just delete whatever we were writing before and use the
Oh.
exclamation mark, because that's
Okay.
what we will be using going forward.
That
Exclamation mark.
yeah. Okay. Done. the exclamation enter. So I have everything HTML head, then there's meta,
Yes,
just said.
HTML will come, then the HTML itself will have the language is equals to English. The head will have some meta information. This one tells us
Okay.
that your website has been designed using UTF-8. These are the standard way of designing a website. File formatting style. Then content will automatically pick the device width, and the initial scale will be 1 unit. Then the title is the title of your website. So in this case, we can give it a name like my website. Then what we need to link is to link the style.css file. So immediately after title, hit enter, then type a link tag. When you hit enter, the link tag by default is going to bring up the style sheet.
Just let me just just let me do that.
The link tag below the title. This one allows you to link your style sheet to your
Oops. Just a minute. Link tag. Okay. Did you just press enter or I've written the link, then
enter?
No, I'm not getting the real style sheet.
Just delete everything. Just write the word link.
Okay. I've written link.
Then you will see it pop up
below there, right?
Yes. Then when you hit enter, it should bring all these writings.
It hasn't brought that.
Let me see.
Okay. Let me just share. Here. Let me just do that. Sorry. Link. That, then enter, right? It's dropping.
Wait. Why is it not bring? It should bring up.
Did I miss something? Okay. Because here's where I put in my website.
No,
then
delete everything. Don't use the first angle bracket. That's the problem now.
But delete everything here.
Delete everything.
Here on the link, okay.
Yes. Then just type the word link. Then hit enter.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yes. Now, using Visual Studio Code is actually easy. You just write the tag. Then when you hit enter, Visual Studio Code will bring up the angle brackets and everything.
Okay, got it.
So next, we want to connect our style.css tag. Just type full stop to tell the file that we are working in the current directory. So where the href, let's go through what is inside the link. As you can see, the link tag has an attribute called relationship, rel. The rel stands for relationship, and it shows that it is a style sheet that is used to style our web page. The href is actually where the style sheet is located, the path where it's located. So to tell the folder where the file is located, we use a full stop, then /.
Yeah.
Then it's located inside the styles. Click the styles.
Click it. Okay.
That one, the one that pops up.
This.
Then CSS, that one.
Okay.
Yes, now save it.
Save it. Okay. Control.
So right now, when you right click and open with the Visual Studio Code, kindly do that.
Server or live server.
Yeah. Sorry, open with the live server. It will lead you to this page. but unfortunately,
Yeah.
we do not have anything on our website.
Oh,
Why?
okay.
Because as it stands, we've not written anything on the body. In website
Okay. Oh,
development,
yeah.
everything that you're going to write is always accessed in the body tag.
Okay.
So stop sharing because
Okay.
so when we want to see anything on our website, we always use the body tag. For example, the fundamental, like the most basic tags that you're going to use include the H1 to H6 tags. So we have the H1
Mm.
tags. This is a H1 tag. So we always have H1 to H6. Then we also have another one, the P tag. This is a P tag, a paragraph that is. So when you save this, automatically you don't need to reopen again with the live server. It should reflect on your website.
Okay.
So when you reload, it should reflect on your website.
Oh, okay.
So during development, what we always
Okay.
do, we don't need to be coming back and forth. So we always minimize this so that inakuwa huku, alafu hii
Mhm.
inakuwa hapo, this way.
Is this the reason why I see developers with two screens?
Yes.
Okay.
So whatever you do here, so for your case it's going to be difficult because you also have to see what I do. So but there's no problem, you
Okay.
can be
Okay.
minimizing this, then bringing up the screen for the meeting, see, then bring it up.
Okay. So the body here. It's let me just share so that you see what I'm doing. So you said there's the H1. Let me just try everything. This is H1. Oh, tag. The tags, right?
Yes.
H2, H3, H4 enter, H5 tag. That's HC. This is tag. That is paragraph. Tag. I close oh, wait a minute. I had closed the page. Let me stop this. Then open live server again. Yeah, there it is. Oh, so it goes reducing the font size. Okay.
Pardon?
It keeps on reducing the font size of each heading.
Yeah, so in a decreasing order, you notice that, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so we always use a tag based on our need.
Okay.
And again, we can still increase it using CSS, which we are going to see the next time.
Okay.
Well, what I taught today is too much. I really don't teach lots of things because human brain is beyond comprehending all this.
Yeah.
So we can stop there so that we
Okay.
can continue with developing this tomorrow.
Okay.
So tomorrow we are going to talk about how different div elements can be used in a website to actually bring out a nice structure. So
Okay.
for now, you can just go on and do some. I want you to give you an assignment. Go
Okay.
on the what do you go, internet
Okay.
and look for HTML tags. There is this website called YW3 Schools.
Okay.
This W3 Schools, it's used for web to learn how to code
Okay.
from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all the way up to your language of choice. So many things that you can learn
Okay.
how to use here. So
Okay.
I need you to go to this website, W3 Schools,
Okay.
click on HTML, read about introduction, the tags and everything, the list, the tables. So basically mali utafika kesho, alafu tutaanzia
Okay.
there. Tutaanzia kesho sasa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. You will find everything here. This is a very good website. It always helps us a lot.
Okay.
So we can stop there
Sir.
unless you have any question.
Okay. No, I don't think I have a question. Let me
You mean I was
just
not
read
sharing
and
when I was showing you the Nini W3
yeah,
schools?
but I've followed. I've gotten W3 schools and at HTML tutorial homepage.
Yes, this one.
Yes.
W3
Okay. Yeah.
schools.
That's where I am at. Yeah.
Yeah. So please make sure you view it and follow along so that tomorrow tukikuja sasa itakuwa tu walk over.
Okay.
Okay, you can stop there and let's meet tomorrow at 9.
Okay.
Have a
Sawa.
great day.
Okay. Thank you.
owad mane noseduogo an gima ne tamo manudhi yudo wadgi weekend orakia nurito nyaka otiek piny iye to lit kan dwari to en gi pesa
Nilangu balance si.
Manunu gu pesa enana ng'ama iye lit
Domo nyiew jacket mowach 5,000.
enana ng'ama iye lit pesa gi yudo ikwayo wadwa migi pesa go 15,000 achoko 15 mano 30 pesa to gidhi ayuda to enana ng'ama iye lit
Yeto. Ukini no nyo mandas, oketa ketiyo bag, koro kosekethe to kelo ka.
No when sandi aonge modwe chame sandi.
no we learn from our mistakes chieng' natika ni nin kora tieko ni atieko ni koro gini orumo ting'e nini na koro oda increase up to 50,000
Limit.
but then ina nini mtu staki why Oscar nini then expensive imagine ki holo nini tichulo over 500 ki holo 4,000 kilo over 500 sami hole no then I can calculate up a word at 17% imagine hiyo gonna increase haraka hey very expensive in Kenya seriously but huwa inasaidia anyway
Equity. You know salary. Ichuloga kiki ichuloga 110%. You will the one day sit down and realize. Gimakiti moga, the moment you pay kidogo, wanachukua ile, wanaongeza interest yao, alafu per month sasa kuna ka interest inaongezeka. That's what the bank do.
Lakini kimabo medoso ya hii and jogi. Anake ngome ni gibiri plot side here.
Elimu jogi to so hiyo mara. We
Ana bro bida ko du wadi ngodu mtu no mai tadaka uwo go mai ja uwo. Manu jo uwo ana ke ta ko sala na di pinyi ni ya. Idi to sebedo ni jawuoro.
Ange gimano buoyo gi mano. Yawa kata ka in gi pesa tineno ka joweteni ni mat. Seche moko e surprise inyiewo gimoro bwana. Koro in mare ni inyiewo chiemo kosetope ba kore kigolo ni ji dwa chamo. What is that? Uruo gi soda ka. Soda no ningali kore ka bang'e ogolo. Ne raka kete dhoga odo.
Abro puonjra kode chieng' moro.
Don't. You know the problem, auntie? Atasema ya kwamba he stayed in your house, that's why you did that. You that people cannot appreciate Joseph. They cannot. Mano chulo ni ni geto.
Boga keto. Mano ngi manyalo tere onge. No kumaro tka. Bara dwaro ng'ama puonjre kod jawuoro sana. Ng'iyo nyiso beri na titieko penj, oda dhi beri. Oh. Dong Fabian bende ne nyisa ganati an mna nyise kata ni koro ka ber wuon. Ni Fabian kona ne noko nyiso kata min gi gini nati karanti jomo kiyot. Imagine. Koro Fabian nyisa nati nyoro yaka koro konwa. Baba en bwana yao, si ungetuambia. Unapea huyo jamaa baadaye. Nimeona vile ametusaidia. No penye Fabian kona la zikuni.
Yo me tengo algo si muogo.
Monogo en kane odak girin. Kane disi biro. Ibedo welo. Lomo ganini. Taba neno no se gola ni chuth. No se gola I payroll mati sai. No kanyocha gichulo 15,000. Kina kwanga tu ni zake anyway.
O mane madhipe wacho ni kanyoro.
No konan kariembe wawinja vija kode. Chieng' osetieko penj to oga waken lakini an kariembe.
To madhito wijo weche gi kure.
Moses donge ale.
Kaya no madhito Jose. Ichiki poko pesani ka ngise. Kata kani chinyiri no. Ani no wuoyo koda chomo penja ka wan maber, ngise no wan maber. Keche kana ngise ni hinyiri. Madhito stress ta domako maber. Kuro tiki moko mande ka ngise ga.
Ana ngise ka sechango, tani na ngise ka sechango. Pneumonia.
That's the best way to deal with her.
Wani nita dot ko yotka.
Ata kitala manicha tuo Bungoma. Mana bedo ga injected every day. Na ile mwambia tu hata nyinyi najua hamjui. Ana tuma I could not even stand. Na malaria utameka thiedho daktari biro mana ko iot thiedha. Kana nen malaria mako one of my side koro. Daktari nongi sana ningetulia hiyo ingeingia kwa brain ningekuwa tu ningerun mad. Niliinjectiwa sijui sindano 4. Malaria of all the things. I cannot take 40 and 49. Lakini see, he has taken advantage of this Liel.
Gingeni Liel, if you can just open can of worms. Liel gidiga kama magi noni nga baba gi ninjo ko ni yonge afsete. Mama gi noni nga baba gi kati churumba. Negi divorce ga, negi separate ga, not divorce, negi separate ga. Boring of nyithindo. I think no fit nyithindo unite of nyithindo babacha. Babacha ndeto George Washington kani nyocha ni Fabian ginodhire the first kijana maduong' ni Fabian kod manti dalano. Nodhire no wacho ni okay ntie kaka maduong' ni to ng'ere nok mare. Nonyiso gini an udong' nyithinda ute. Misi na yo kwan pogo mama we makelo no.
Nonyiso gite.
Koro jogi okawa advantage mali sana. Okay, mimi nimefanya my part but akina mwanga kaparo na jogi jogi plot ka. That's why I nilitoroka anga Dandora.
Bari, ini yoro netie pesa munega oro ni mari jugu tilenga lenga. Pare na werangu sim. Nina rangu sim ma pare nuwo we. Eka buko oro pesa ta oro ga late.
Nyere sadi pan.
Akena oro ga sabura ken sadi.
Koro mano late.
Kumu ko no pirango jugu mondi. Pare an bi no will kabisa.
Beri ni donju pesa di.
35.
Maloka. Mole ilka.
Mole le malo. Mole.
Polisi semasa nini kitabia Marachi town.
Nyaki estate. Dungi itani wata kirango nini ino ngana mindset. Ini ngama uso bersi begi loso si. Gimana? Laptop ni.
Jesus Christ.
Time.
I recorded the screen. Maiye.
Kiyose.
Nita edit tu.